I first started to learn to drive when I was 17, when I was still at school. Now, my brother, he had a friend called David, and David's dad was a driving instructor. Very convenient. However, there were a few problems. The first problem was that he seemed to be of the opinion that women shouldn't really be driving. And he was incredibly patronising. So it was sort of everything you did was kind of wrong. And it was just really difficult. Now, I probably could have coped with that. But what I couldn't cope with was his maniacal laugh. It was like a cackly ha 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 ha. And he would laugh at the most inopportune moments. And it was most bizarre. He'd just be turning to go around a corner and it'd be ha 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 ha. And it'd be, oh, where did that come from? What was that? And it was very scary. I don't know. It was just kind of a spooky. It was just weird. It just sort of sent the chills up your spine. So I couldn't go because for a couple of weeks because I was away. So I said, I won't bother just booking a lesson now because I'm not sure exactly when I'll be able to make it next time. And I basically never booked a lesson again with him. And in fact, I didn't actually learn to drive until after I'd finished my degree and I'd actually working my first job as a pharmacist in a little chemist in my hometown. And it happened that one of my customers turned out to be a driving instructor, a very pleasant guy. And I said to him, I don't know when I can even do some driving lessons. And he said, you know what, I'll come and pick you up when you close for lunch. And I'll make sure you're back when the shop opens for after lunch break. I was like, that's perfect, absolutely perfect. So and that's what he did. Like every week he'd come and he'd take me out, and he was just completely the reverse of this other guy. He was just so lovely, and it just everything felt so easy with him. He was so relaxed. In fact, most of the time we used to chat. It was hardly really like learning to drive. It was just like going out for an hour's drive with somebody around the town. And the other thing, he was really, really good with all the manoeuvres. He had a little sticker in the back of his car, I remember, and you just had to follow the sticker around the curb if you were like going reversing backwards around a corner. And and he had these little tricks and stuff about how to do things. And they just brought in the parallel parking too, so he was like really good on that. In fact, I really actually had trouble in my driving test due to that, because the driving the driving examiner, should I say, he didn't seem to know exactly how you're supposed to do the parallel parking, and this guy sort of taught me textbook how to do it, and it worked every time. And I think that the driving test examiner was worried I was going to hit the car that I was parking behind, but I wasn't, as I was actually quite good at it. So anyway, this guy, he taught me to drive, and he was absolutely fabulous. And in fact, I passed my test first time in spite of this problem with this strange examiner who didn't really seem to know what he was doing. But the problem was that I never got really any practice outside of those lessons, because I'd acquired a 2CV from my friend, which I shared with my brother. And I don't know if you've ever driven a 2CV, but it's got that gear lever on the steering wheel. It's in a different place than it is in a normal car. So driving a 2CV is a completely different experience than driving a normal manual car. And so, my brother did take me out a few times, and it kind of wasn't a complete waste of time, but it was completely different than driving in a normal car. And so, and also the other thing is, in a 2CV, as you go around the corner, it's like being in a tin can on wheels, literally. And, as you go around the corner, kind of the whole thing kind of leans over. And but anyway, the thing was, after I passed my test, I had that night I'd agreed to deliver some medicines to somebody in some place I didn't know in the town, and I said to my brother, "Oh, will you come with me?" Expecting my nice brother to come with me. He's like, "No, I don't need to come with you anymore." Go on your own. It's like raining and driving this 2CV that I've driven about 5 times in my life before, trying to find my way around a part of the town I didn't even know. But anyway, I got there, and that was a rather eventful day for me, passing my test and having to drive this 2CV in the rain on my own.